In August 2015, a traffic stop would turn deadly when Officer Sean Bolton, 5 years with Memphis PD, saw an illegally parked Mercedes-Benz with two men sitting in the driver's seat and the front passenger seat. Unbeknownst to Officer Bolton, the man in the passenger seat, Tremaine Wilburn, had been diagnosed just a month earlier in July 2015 with depression with psychotic features and PTSD and something called race-related stress. Just a year earlier in 2014, Tremaine Wilburn had been released from federal prison, and his release was supposed to be supervised. Tremaine Wilburn started his interactions with police as young as 7 years old. His mother began to call the police on him when he was just in elementary school, telling the police that Tremaine would run from her when she went to whip him. So Officer Bolton approaches this illegally parked Mercedes, and the young man in the passenger seat, he bolts, he takes out for it, he runs as soon as he sees Officer Bolton. So Sean Bolton is left facing the passenger, Tremaine Wilburn. Wilburn did not attempt to flee from this officer. Reportedly, they scuffled, and before it was over, Tremaine Wilburn would fire off 11 rounds with 8 bullets hitting Officer Sean Bolton. The Memphis police officer, according to witnesses, fell to the ground pretty quickly after he was shot by Tremaine Wilburn. But after he was on the ground, Wilburn stood over him and kept shooting. According to the medical examiner and witnesses, Sean Bolton's face was obliterated. A resident in the neighborhood where this all took place said that his nephew ran into the house and said that a police officer had just been shot outside. And Christopher Lanier said he didn't believe his nephew, that he went outside, he saw Officer Bolton on the ground, and that he ran over to him and he was telling him, hang on, we're going to get you some help. And this citizen, Christopher Lanier, ultimately used Officer Bolton's phone to call 911. Lanier testified that Officer Bolton did not respond to him and that he still, while face down on the ground, he had one of his hands covering his face. Where was Tremaine Wilburn? He took off after he had killed Officer Bolton, and what he did was he hijacked a car. The victim of the carjacking survived and later testified that when Tremaine Wilburn approached his vehicle, that he told him, I need your car, I just killed a police officer. Tremaine Wilburn's identity was discovered through fingerprints taken out of the Mercedes-Benz. Now, once Tremaine Wilburn was arrested and charged, he faced the death penalty, and that is where things got really interesting. You see, Wilburn had something called a mitigation expert, and what that mitigation expert did was detail what Tremaine Wilburn's life was like. You see, his mother lost her parents when she was young, so when she became a mother, she did not have family support. Tremaine Wilburn's mother was a prostitute who would often leave her children for extended periods of times with a babysitter. And Tremaine Wilburn's half-sibling had a grandmother who fell in love with her grandchild's siblings, and she became Tremaine Wilburn's and his other siblings' foster mother/grandmother. And I believe that it was her testimony that kept Tremaine Wilburn from receiving the death penalty. During the 2018 trial, Tremaine Wilburn's mother was actually on parole in Louisiana. So does it matter to you? Does it matter to you that Tremaine Wilburn had a traumatic childhood, that he spent time in foster care, that he had a neglectful and abusive mother? Because Officer Sean Bolton had nothing to do with Tremaine Wilburn's childhood. And in fact, the people in the neighborhood where Officer Sean Bolton was killed said that they liked him, that he was a friendly and respectful police officer. My point in making this video was to show you, the public, the importance of having an expert in a murder trial, particularly a death penalty trial. Because, see, Tremaine Wilburn had a mitigation expert that worked with his defense counsel to put together a picture of the man, of who Tremaine Wilburn was when Officer Sean Bolton approached that illegally parked Mercedes. Without that mitigation expert and those mitigation factors, I am almost positive that Tremaine Wilburn would have been sentenced to death. What do you all think? Do you care about Tremaine Wilburn's childhood, or do you think he should be on death row?